Hello, welcome back. I hope you clicked on this video and I hope you have already seen episode 1 and 2 or lectures 1 and 2 before you guys arrived here. But even if you guys haven't seen lectures 1 and 2, I think this video will still work since I'm explaining each topic separately. By the way, I am Moshi Moshi Dani and I make magic bro, what's wrong with me? I make Magic the Gathering short videos, and I upload them in the short section of this YouTube channel. Go check them out. I am so proud of those videos. Basically, I tell you the story of the card. Bro, I need coffee. Basically, I tell you the story of the magic cards I own, or magic cards that I will own in the future, or maybe magic cards that you guys own. If you guys will write in the comment section which card you guys want me to talk about, which cards lore you guys want me to talk about. All right, so before I start, I want to apologize. I'm very sorry if this third lecture is late. I'm a little bit busy from my day job, so I really don't have enough time to. I don't have extra time to spend to make this video, but now I have this time. I have around 3 hours of time, free time, to make this video. Okay, next, I also want to say sorry for the audio of the first two videos. Well, to be honest, I am actually around 80% deaf, so in my head, the audio quality and clarity doesn't register. Now I tested the audio before I started, but I had to like increase the volume around 200% before I can understand if this audio quality right now is good. And so far, this audio quality that you guys are hearing sounds okay, so I'm gonna use this audio setting. Alright, so that's the introduction. Oh, wait, before I start. If you guys find this video interesting, or if you guys find my short videos interesting, may I beg you guys to please hit the subscribe button? Each subscription really inspires me to make videos like this. I have tons more of weird ideas in relation to Magic the Gatherings that I will want to share in the future. But it's really hard work doing them, writing them. I did already write some essays for myself about ideas in relation to Magic the Gathering. And if you guys will subscribe, it would really make me feel good. It would make me feel like there's a reason why I have to make those ideas into videos and publish them here on YouTube. So yeah, I hope you guys can find it in your heart to subscribe to my small channel. Alright, enough with introduction. Too much introduction. Okay, so let's continue the lecture on the Nietzschean look on Magic the Gatherings. Now we will start with part 4, and part 4 is all about the will to power in Magic the Gathering. Basically, I will just show you examples of Magic the Gathering characters who manifested the will to power. And for me, this is the easiest topic to combine with Magic the Gathering. When I was writing this essay in my notebook and then typing them on my laptop, I realized that this was the easiest because all I had to do was like look for characters that manifested will to power and combine them together here in this presentation. So yeah, so for example, some of those characters that quickly pop up in my head when I was thinking about will to power and Magic the Gathering, one of them is Elspeth. I will tell you one specific story later why she manifested the will to power. But yes, basically, Elspeth is one of those characters that obviously manifested will to power. And for those who are not familiar with Elspeth, bruh, he downed two gods and one semi-god, demigod. Bro, Elspeth was able to defeat Heliod, Xenagos, and then, oh my god, I forgot the name of that Phyrexian. What's her name again? The arrow for the head. Elishnorn. Elishnorn. I almost said Shieldred, but Elishnorn. So yeah, she manifested will to power. Another character that manifested will to power, if you followed his story, is Mishra. Mishra started out as a young boy, learning, growing up, and then having power. And then having this sibling argument with Urza. And then wanting power for himself so he could, I guess you can say, dominate others. Basically, he had the will to power. That's why he was able to build all these machinations or artifacts to fight for him. That's why he was able to cause so much trouble. All right, so Mishra is another example, and if still Elspeth and Mishra, you guys are not familiar with, I doubt that you don't know who Mishra is. Then I'll show you guys this worm. Now you guys understand what will to power is, right? Whatever this worm did, whatever this worm achieved, whatever this worm planned, whatever this worm wanted, it's all manifestation of will to power. Nicole Bolas. Okay. So, what is will to power according to Nietzsche? Well, according to Nietzsche, the will to power is the fundamental drive behind human behavior and life itself. And that the will to power appears as creativity, ambition, self discipline, and the desire for mastery over oneself. It is not simply a desire for political power or domination over others, but a deeper urge to grow, to overcome obstacles, express strength, and shape one's own values. So that's what will to power is. All right? It's not as simple as, ooh, I want to be the group leader. No. It's all about you overcoming almost everything. All right? Expressing the power, expressing strength, expressing your ambition, everything, and creating your own values. Now, the reason why I've shown this picture in this manner is I want to emphasize a point. Will to power doesn't have to apply to bad guys only. Will to power also applies to good guys and maybe anti-hero. Will to power applies to everybody. And will to power only manifests if that person embraces the will to power. And these characters I'm showing you guys obviously embraced the will to power. Of course, with varying results. Alright. Now, Nietzsche believed that life naturally seeks expansion and self-overcoming. And this expansion and self-overcoming, there's one good story I can use, or rather, one good plane we can use as an example here. I don't need to look for other planes. I'll just go to my favorite plane, Innistrad. Oh, by the way, it's Liliana again, my love. So yeah. All right, now on the plane of Innistrad, you have vampires, you have werewolves, and you have humans. All of them, whether you guys believe it or not, manifested the will to power, or manifests the will to power. For example, the vampire. What do they need the power for? Well, simple. The vampires wanted power because they want it for expansion, they want it for domination, and they want it for influence, at the expense of usually the humans. What about the werewolves? Why do they have the will to power? It's almost the same reason. Power for expansion, domination, and influence, usually at the expense of humans. Now, what about the humans? Why do they have the will to power? At least those who wanted to survive and wanted to fight back, why do they have the will to power? Simple. They wanted power for survival. They wanted power for defense, and then they wanted power for stability. Bro, they have been bullied by monsters for centuries, so they obviously want power. Now, going back to the idea of good and bad, again, will to power applies to everybody. If you think will to power applies to the vampires because usually they're bad guys, think again. Once upon a time, vampires were humans too. If you think will to power applies to werewolves because they're like monstrosities in the forest, well, think again. If the werewolves are in their human form, usually they're being bullied by humans, especially if humans spread gossip about them transforming at night. They will bully the werewolves, they will kick them out in the village. And then, if you think will to power suits humans because they've been bullied for centuries, well, in humanity, at least in Innistrad, they're full of hypocrites. They're full of bad people. All right, so I hope that clears everything up. Will to power applies to everybody. And of course, the results of the will to power, it varies. It depends on the actions and how much work, I guess, each character or each creature did to try to embrace that will to power. All right, so will to power on the plane of Innistrad. Speaking of embracing will to power, I know one story wherein the character resented power, and then at the same time he embraced the power, having the will to power, embracing it, and actually becoming, I guess you can say, powerful. All right, so let's divide our screen to two sides so I can tell the story. So the character I'm talking about is this guy, Goatman Xenagos. So Xenagos is a planeswalker. So for those non-MTG players out there, a planeswalker is basically a character who can move from one world to another. All right, so there you go. Now, this Xenagos guy, a planeswalker, after traveling around different worlds, he realized that other worlds didn't have God. That in his world, Theros, gods are just gods because people believe in them. People pray to them. People worship them. All right? And upon realizing this, upon discovering this truth, Xenagos thought, oh my god, my world is a joke. The god system is a freaking joke. All right, so basically, in Theros, where Xenagos comes from, Theros gods are created by mortal faith. Meaning, these gods are not really gods because they have been existing since the beginning of time or before their time was recorded. No, they're just gods because people believe in them, because people pray to them. And then when Xenagos realized this, he saw that this is just one big joke. So he resented the system. He hated how gods became gods. But did he give up? Did he like, oh, I hate my world, I'm gonna move to Innistrad, I'm gonna move to Dominaria? Actually, no. Xenagos realized that, oh wow, I can manipulate the system. I can become a god myself. And so he did. He manipulated people into believing in him. He manipulated people to believe in him, to pray to him, and worship him. And because of this, Xenagos himself became a god. He became the god of rebels, embodying chaos, revelry, freedom, desire. Basically, he became a god of dance parties and disorder. There you go. So, a good example of what happens if a person resents the will to power, or a person embraces will to power. Xenagos. Now, I'm not gonna end it here. I'm not gonna end the story of Xenagos here. I'm gonna end the story of Xenagos using again a character that embraced will to power and defeated Xenagos because of this. Alright, so when Xenagos became a god, one of the old gods of Theros, Heliod, found this disrespectful. He was like, what the hell? This goat? Why are you a god? Alright, for the full story, I made a short card lore video of this. It's uploaded in the short video section of my YouTube channel. Go watch it. It's quite a good explanation of the story. But basically, Heliod didn't like this idea that a nobody could become a god in their world. So Heliod asked the help, or not asked the help, he ordered his champion, Elspeth, to go destroy this new god, Xenagos. And it happened. The story is shown in this card. Deicide. Dei, God, side. Destruction, killing, right? Anyway, Deicide. In the art of the card, you guys can see Elspeth killing Xenagos. And Elspeth said, it is done. Alright, so now this happened because Elspeth also manifests the will to power. Which brings me back to this very popular Nietzsche phrase, God is dead. Everything is connected. Alright. Okay, part 4 is done. If you guys have any question in this part, please write them in the comment section below. If I know the answer, I'm gonna give you a straight answer. If I don't know the answer, I'll just rumble around and try to give a sarcastic answer if ever I can think of something sarcastic. Anyway, let's move on. Part 5. God is Dead in Magic the Gathering. So, this story, or this part of the story, I need to give a heads up to the religious people listening to this video. I want to remind you that from this point forward, I am not talking about, nor am I thinking about your religion every time I say God is dead. I am talking about the game MTG here and the lore inside it. Alright, so every time I say God is dead in this presentation, I am talking about Magic the Gathering lore. So please don't at me and say I am the Antichrist. Bruh. I'm the kindest butterfly you guys will ever become friend with. Trust me. Alright, God is dead. Ah, the phrase that ruffles the feathers of many people. Alright, so according to Nietzsche, the phrase God is dead does not literally mean God died. Okay? It actually means that the belief, people's traditional views, people's traditional values uh, are lost. All right? We lost the faith, we lost the values, we lost the morals, we lost the virtues coming from religion. Why? Well, because modern science, reason, and cultural change happened. All right, so that's it. That's the basic idea of God is dead. God is dead, according to Nietzsche, is not really God dying. Instead, the values, the virtue, the morality that we get from religion is dead because we became smarter. All right, but for Nietzsche, the real issue is what if there is no God anymore? What happens to us, people? Okay, so let's use Magic the Gathering cards to understand this idea. And I'm gonna show you a card here. Now remember, my favorite plane is Innistrad. I'm always gonna go back to it to find examples and use it here. And there's a good example here actually. Now for those who know this card here, you already know who I want to talk about. I want to talk about Avacyn, the Archangel. Now if you know the lore, you might think, wait, Avacyn is just an angel. She's not a goddess. To which my reply is, if you guys read the story of Innistrad and if you guys read the devotion that people show for Avacyn, actually they're showing the devotion to a point wherein they are worshipping Avacyn. Like the level of devotion is an expression of devotion so high that Avacyn can be considered goddess in their thoughts, in their minds, in their eyes. So I'm gonna use Avacyn as an example of a goddess that died, and then we will observe what happened to the people who prayed, who believed, who had faith on Avacyn. Now, one of the results I can show you is this one here, represented by the card Faithless Looting. When Avacyn disappeared, this is what happened. People started going mad, destroying things, and looting stuff. Right? So there you go. This is what happens when the god disappears. People become, I guess you can say, crazy, mad, and brave to do the bad things they couldn't do when Avacyn Archangel was still existing. But yeah, let's use Avacyn's death as an example here of what will happen to the people if their goddess, goes away. Avacyn's death left the people of Innistrad with no protector. People saw Avacyn as a goddess. They prayed, they worshipped, they adored. I also made a short video of this. I'm gonna link all the short videos I'm referencing here. It's in the description below. But I have a short lore video of who Avacyn is, why was she created, and how she died. Basically, she was killed by her dad. Bad Sorin. Bad Sorin. Wait. I wanna do this. Oh, bad dad. Okay, to be fair, the killing of Avacyn is well founded. I guess it has good reasons. Anyway, okay, going back to Avacyn. Avacyn dead. Now, what happened to the Avacynians, to the people worshipping, believing, praying to Avacyn? Well, some of them became paranoid. Some of them became crazy, I guess. Some of them actually became mad because they had no protectors anymore. The level of fear they have increased to the point they're going mad, crazy. They're turning against each other, humans against humans, because there's no more Avacyn to protect. For there's no more Avacyn to give them protection. All right, so yeah, with no protector, vampires, werewolves, and others monsters started attacking people again. And this time, the vampires, werewolves, and monsters were much more braver to bully humans. At the same time, people also started turning against each other. Like, bro, why am I? The humans who were scared to do crimes are now brave to do crimes, commit crimes because Avacyn is already dead. No more people, no more archangel to punish them, punish these bad people. Now, of course, there are those who maintained their faith. There are those that survived and still held on to hope and still prayed to Avacyn. But prayers were left unanswered because their archangel is already gone. So, according to Nietzsche, for these survivors, for these people who are holding hope, they will find a crisis here. That if they won't be able to find a solution for this unanswered prayers, most probably they will experience nihilism. These people will go extinct. Not because monsters will kill them, but maybe these guys, these people who are still holding hope but no answers coming, they will most probably end themselves. No need for monsters to come to end them. Most probably they will just end themselves. Yeah, so according to Nietzsche, the vacuum left behind by the death of a god or a goddess creates nihilism, a sense that life has no meaning or value. Nietzsche warned that humanity must respond by creating new values and taking responsibility for meaning itself. So if you don't want to turn like this guy, it's fine to be this woman, to still maintain the faith. But you have to create new values. You have to find new goals. You have to have responsibilities. And those things can come anywhere. But the point is, you have to respond by creating something new. All right, so let's use this card as an example of what happens if your god dies, but you're able to create your own values, moralities, ethics, virtues, philosophy, etc., etc. So let's use Bereaved Survivor. So for the Magic players out there, you guys see the symbol, right? So Bereaved Survivor actually has the transform ability. Bereaved Survivor can transform into a Dauntless Avenger. So from a survivor, grieving because they lost their archangel, she becomes a Dauntless Avenger, a fighter that fights for something again. There's a new goal, there's a new why to fight again. So basically, if you can survive the death of your god or goddess, and you have new goals, new faith, new values, new goddess or gods to worship, you guys can avert nihilism. And besides averting nihilism, you guys can unlock a new skill. And the skill is to create your own values, your own ideas, your own philosophy, your own system of thought, your own virtue, your own ethics. And if you guys can do this, according to Nietzsche, then you guys can be transformed into something new. No more nihilism to try to make you guys feel depressed or sad or lonely. All right, now for this lore, on this side, it's like showing a grieving woman because Avacyn died. And then on this side, you see a fighter woman because of another archangel, Sigarda. Sigarda is like the sister angel for Avacyn. Sigarda gave new goals, new responsibilities to these people. That's why instead of like succumbing to madness or being victimized by monsters, no, they started fighting back. Alright, so it also works for the other characters that were Avacynians, those who worshipped Avacyn. So some of them actually survived, some of them started fighting back, some of them actually became, you can say, stronger, especially the humans who, upon realizing Avacyn died, they didn't give up, they continued fighting. So yeah, Without Avacyn, they created their own values, and now they survive nihilism, which is very important. Surviving nihilism is very, very important. Alright, so there you go. Now, everything is connected, like I said. Somebody, according to Nietzsche, somebody, or rather anybody, who can create their own path, who can create their own values, who can establish their own morals and own ideas, they can become the Ubermensch. Which leads us to our next lesson, the Ubermensch. Alright, part 5 is done. If you guys have any question for part 5, please do write them in the comment section below. If I know the answer to your questions, I'm gonna answer them directly, but if I don't, I'm gonna ignore you. I'm just gonna like and heart your comment and ignore you. But I'm not that smart. I just write what I know. So maybe you guys will ask me something deep about this idea of surviving the death of God. But I'm not that smart. Okay, let's continue our lesson. The last part of our lesson. Yay, yatta, yatta desne. The Ubermensch in Magic the Gathering. Bro, I don't need to go look for many examples. Magic the Gathering is filled with Ubermensch examples. Okay, now for the non-MTG, non-philosophy, non-Nietzsche people here, Ubermensch can be literally translated as Overman or Superman. Quick clarification, I'm not talking about Clark Kent or superheroes here. Though the examples from Magic the Gathering that we will use are like superheroes, Ubermensch by Nietzsche is not about the superhero characters, alright? Alright, so what is Ubermensch for Nietzsche? Ubermensch simply is the ideal type of a person who can create their own values instead of following society's roles or traditional morality. Basically, somebody who is like, I guess we can say alpha? An alpha? Bro, I'm so bad at this. I'm trying to use like what young kids use, the words young kids use, but I can't think of anything. But like, yeah, sure, whatever, an alpha. Right? They pave their own way, they create their own path, and so on and so forth. Not really bowing down to moral norms and traditional morality. And again, at the top of my head, a complete lore example for this Ubermensch character is Elspeth. Need I repeat what she did? Her accomplishments? She killed 2 gods? She killed a demigod? Wait, is it safe to call Elish Norn a demigod? Whatever. She killed a demigod, and basically she became a powerful creature. Not only like a planeswalker, like, look, a legendary planeswalker. So Elspeth is an Ubermensch, alright? So there you go. Yeah, so anybody who can set new goals, new faith, new values, new morality, new something, maybe we can remove this part here. New something to believe in, can avert nihilism, well, there you go. You can become an Ubermensch. New ability unlock, alright? You can shape everything according to your new found things, you found goals and faith and values and whatnot. Yeah, bro, literally, like she defeated a god. So I think it's just safe to apply the name Ubermensch to Elspeth. Ubermensch are figures that can represent humanity's potential after the decline of religion and old values. I think it is safe to say that most of the planeswalkers are Ubermensch. So, I'm showing you too much examples here, and I cannot really go through their lore one by one. But what I will do is I will make card lore videos for them, each and every one of them, and put them in the YouTube short section of my channel. Go check it out. It's fun. I'm proud of those videos. I keep plugging it here. I don't care, but those videos, oh my god. I'm so proud of them. They're good quality. Trust me. Go watch them now. Oh wait. After you listen to this lesson, you go watch those videos. All right. Yeah. So I think it's quite safe to apply the idea of Ubermensch on planeswalkers. Of course, they're not perfect characters, right? They're not gods that are infallible. No, they make mistakes, they have failures and so on. But in terms of accomplishment, power levels, influence, they are Ubermensch. All of them are Ubermensch. I'm just gonna highlight which Ubermensch are my favorite, or rather, is my favorite. All right, there you go. My favorite of them all. Okay, to be fair, my second favorite. There you go. Second favorite. All right. Sorry for doing this. I know it sounds cringe, but I really love the story of Liliana, and then I love Sorin as an anti-hero. Okay. But I want to talk about this worm. I know I already talked a little bit about him earlier, but let's talk about this worm. I think this guy is one of the best examples to use as an Ubermensch. Like, look, he's got a cool, powerful title. Nicol Bolas, God Pharaoh. Bro, God. God is there. Pharaoh is there. So I think we can call this guy an Ubermensch. He does whatever he deems important. Sorry. Nicol Bolas does whatever he deems is important for him to do. Basically, he does whatever he wants, and he tells you, "Fuck you, shut up. I'm gonna do whatever I want." That's it. He is self-serving, serving only his own purpose. I know this is redundant, but like I have to write it in a redundant manner to emphasize the point. He does whatever he wants. Of course, he creates his own values and then he follows it. He is morally indifferent. It's all about his goals, purpose, wants, and needs. His Machiavellian attitude makes him formidable besides his power. So you might think I'm only focusing too much on the power that he has. No, Nicol Bolas is a smart worm. He literally can also shape reality and didn't accept being weak. And the time came when he became weak, bro. He just schemed and gained all those powers back. Bro, very Ubermensch. He's got so much power at his disposal, he sets his own values and virtues with it. Because he's so powerful, he can just, again, do whatever he wants. His imposition of his will to power, his domination, scare others who are also trying to impose their will in the same plane he is in. Basically, other powerful creatures are afraid or scared of Nicol Bolas. Like, bruh, he literally overcame himself. That his actions are not driven by any mortal's definition of what good and evil is. Of course, your moral compass will say, or your bias will say he is a bad character, but removing the notion of bad, evil, and good, no doubt that this guy manifests will to power. No doubt that this guy is an Ubermensch. Now, I'm gonna do something here. Pop. Wow! Most of the sentences also apply... Oh, sorry. Most of the sentences also apply to Urza. Alright, so Urza is also an example of like an Ubermensch. And then one more. Pop. So you guys might think I'm too masculine here. So to be fair, I'm gonna show you an example of a girl Ubermensch. Sadly, it's not my love, Liliana. I have to choose Sarah, the benevolent. Alright, why is she an Ubermensch? Bro, I think this girl is a best example because look, she's got a very, very powerful title. The benevolent. She also does whatever she thinks is important. She is self-serving. But the opposite of Nicol Bolas, she does it for good cause. She created her own values and others followed it. She is moral, and her goals, purpose, wants, and needs are benevolent. Her benevolent attitude makes her formidable besides his power. So for Nicol Bolas and Ursa, their cunning Machiavellian style is the opposite for Sarah Angel. And Sarah Angel literally is godlike. Alright? She created her own world and filled her own world with white mana. Bruh. Ubermensch. Too powerful. She's OP. She's got so much power at her disposal. Bruh. She's got so much power at her disposal. She created her own plane with her creations in it. So I guess, yeah, even if I don't finish all of the boxes here, I guess you get the point. Sarah Angel is a very good example of a woman Ubermensch. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Quick note. Yeah, like I said, Nietzsche didn't mean superhero when he said Ubermensch, but a person who fully affirms life, embraces struggle, and shapes meaning through strength and self-action. And these three here, those characteristics, affirm life, and then follows whatever they want, and then there's action. It works. It applies on these three characters here. Yo! Oh, that should be part 6. Part 6 is done! If you guys have any question for part 6, do write them in the comment section below if I know the answer. Alright, I'm tired repeating that sentence. If you guys enjoyed this presentation, do consider subscribing. Like, honestly, if you guys subscribe, it really inspires me. Like, I didn't expect my subscription to reach 900. Like, 2 weeks ago? What? 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was around 300. It's now 900. Oh my god. So people really appreciate lore. Smart people like you who's listening to this video. Wow. I give you applause. Thank you so much. So if you guys reach this part of the video and you find my video somewhat entertaining or at least relaxing enough to make you guys fall asleep, do consider subscribing. I am Moshi Dani and I make short videos, Magic the Gathering card lore, and upload them in the short section of my channel. And yeah, you guys made it at the end of the lesson, so thank you so much. Thanks for listening. See you in the next upload. Bye-bye.